Hi, it's me, your sister Queen Consuela, and I am coming to you extra early today because I have some things to do today. And first, make sure that you subscribe, make sure you like, comment if you need to. I prefer you to. Share and tap that bell so you know when I go live and you don't always have to catch the replay. So today I will not be before you long because I have a busy day scheduled for today and I still haven't gotten dressed yet. But I wanted to come to you first. So I'm not going to do a prayer point today, but I am going to discuss about love in marriage. I want you to know that we all go forward saying that we love our husband, and you always tell people that you love them, but do you really show them that you love them? Do you display the kind of love that God told us to love with? Or do you love the way that you love based on your feelings? So we're going to talk about 1 Corinthians 13, verses 4 through 8a. And I'm going to read from the Amplified version because it expands on so much that we really need to talk about. Like I said, I won't be before you long, so let's go ahead and get started. So what does it say? Love endures with patience and serenity. Love is kind and thoughtful and is not jealous or envious. Love does not brag and is not proud or arrogant. It is not rude. It is not self-seeking. It is not provoked nor overly sensitive and easily angered. It does not take into account a wrong endured. It does not rejoice at injustice, but rejoice with the truth and when right and truth prevails. Love bears all things regardless of what comes, believes all things, looking for the best in each one of them, and hope all things, remaining steadfast during difficult time, endure all things without weakening. Love never fails, it never fades nor ends. And that's it. I'm sorry, about to move forward because I said to 8a. So let's go back to the beginning. It says, love endures with patience and serenity. How much patience do you have with that one person that you say you love? You know, that spouse, that husband, and he does things that irritates you and tests your patience. How much patience do you display with him? And do you, when you do have patience with him, do you ever feel like, oh, wow, he just taking advantage of this, and he constantly move forward. And so you lose your patience. Well, I was guilty of that. And every now and then I am still guilty of that. But you want to have patience and serenity with your husband. You want that peace in your home. So you have to love with patience. It says love is kind and thoughtful and is not jealous or envious. Do you know that you can be jealous and envious in your own marriage? Some people get into a position where either you're jealous or envious about something in your marriage, or your spouse is envious or jealous from you about something. Money is a big thing when it comes to a woman making more money than a man. They won't say they're jealous or envious, but a lot of times they usually are. So they feel like they have to work extra hard to make a whole lot more money than you so that they can feel like they are the man of the household. Now, I didn't have to go through that. He appreciated, but I did have to endure the fact that, when he was working, he was throwing it in my face how much more money he was making than me. And can I be honest? For a while, I got a little jealous because I'm like, hold up, I've been working all this time. And which I knew I was being screwed at my job, which is one of the reasons I was ready to go. But that's another life. But I got a little jealous of the money he was making. And I was letting pride step in, like, I don't need your money, you do what you want. I don't really need your money. But I was looking at it, my money versus his money. And he did the same thing. He was kind of throwing the money he was making, but it was never that when I was the one making more money. So I had to learn to put that aside, put my pride aside, stop being jealous and envious, and realize that we are a team and it's not me versus him. Because when you allow money to step in, it becomes me versus him. Hey, sis, I have to call you sis. But you don't want, money to be an issue, because money will be one of the main things that will cause you to be jealous or envious in your marriage. Then we want to talk about love does not brag. And what I just said is not proud or arrogant, which is what I experienced. That proud and arrogant experience when it came to money. And it doesn't brag, but sometimes they don't know it doesn't brag. So you may find yourself in a situation where the male, your husband, may be bragging about how much money he makes over you. That's not love. He doesn't brag about the things he does, the things he have versus the things you have. He's not always proud. He's not trying to be that arrogant person. Now, if you have an arrogant person, you may want to check that love issue in there, because love is not proud or arrogant. Then we want to go to it is not rude, it is not self-seeking, and it is not provoked, overly sensitive, or easily angered. So you're in this marriage, right? And you say you love this man, and any simple little thing he does, you have this attitude, and before you realize it, you're saying things that is very rude, very inappropriate. You seeking self. You start thinking about yourself, and you put you above him, above all things. But you say you love him. But all you worrying about is how you feel, what you think, and what you want. And listen, that overly sensitive situation is real, because I was super sensitive when it came to a lot of things. I felt like if you really love me, you would care about my feelings. That's being selfish, one. Have you ever thought that maybe he don't really know how to love? But then you have to ask yourself, if you're so overly sensitive, do you know how to love? Now, that was a situation that I had to deal with within myself, because I didn't really know how to love, and I didn't know how to receive love. So these things came in, and I would get angry easily when he didn't do the things that I thought he should have done to show me that he loved me. But I wasn't always receptive to the way he was loving me, because it was the way he knew how. And instead of taking my time to try to figure out how he loves, I was so focused on how I wanted to be loved. And it wasn't looking like that to me. So I was very sensitive about it. I would get angry easily. And I'm like, I have to sit back and think about it. Is he doing the best he can to love me? Is it the fact that he doesn't know how to love? Or was it the fact that I didn't know how to receive love? That's a question you might want to ask yourself, because guess what? Your girl had to ask that question a million times. And you know what I realized? It wasn't so much that he didn't know how to love. I just didn't know how to receive love. So because I didn't know how to receive love, he stopped giving the kind of love that he thought I wanted. And it became a situation where I wasn't always receptive, and he wasn't. He was overly sensitive about the way everything was going. So he stopped showing me the love that he knew how, because he felt like it wasn't good enough. You see where all this comes in and kind of disrupt everything? But at the end of the day, we say, oh, I love you. Oh, I love you too. We need to start checking and seeing what love is. And then we have to understand that love does not rejoice at injustice. And let me tell you something. And it doesn't take into account the wrong endured. How many times you tell somebody you love them and they say they love you, and when things get bad, the first thing you remember is what they did against you, the wrong that you felt? Let me tell you something. I'm guilty. Because how many times we say, well, if you really love me, you wouldn't have did this. Or if you really love me, you would have done that. I'm very guilty of it. Oh, am I guilty of it? Because I was quick to tell my husband, you say you love me, but I can't tell if you really love me. If you really love me, you wouldn't have did that, or you wouldn't have went here, or you wouldn't have left me, or you wouldn't have. But the word says it doesn't take into account wrong endured. So we're saying that we love, but are we loved according to the word, or are we loving according to our feelings? And it also tells us that the love bears all things regardless of what comes. That's that's a doozy one right there, because it says regardless of what comes. Yeah, so my love didn't bear all things. The things that came, some of the things that was coming, yeah, my love wasn't there. My love was like, I'm not about to put up with that. I'm not dealing with that. Mind you, this is my husband, which is why there were several times that I considered divorce. Why? Because I'm like, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not dealing with that. If you don't know what you want, I'm going to help you out. But it says that love, what it does, it bears all things. I had to get to a point where I had to ask myself, okay, if I say I'm a follower of Jesus, Jesus went to the cross and he was innocent. What makes me better than Jesus that I feel like even though if I feel like I'm innocent, that I can't go through anything? Now, I'm not going to tell you that, I don't still be questioning some things about what I want to go through or what I don't want to go through. But I do have to go back sometimes and, check myself versus this word. And that's when I realized I'm not always walking in it, but each day I try my hardest to. And then it says, believes all day things, looking for the best in each one. That's another one you want to take a chance at, because guess what? You don't always believe everything, right? I'm going to keep that part to myself because I ain't going to tell you what I'm thinking. But it says it's looking for the best in each one. So before you go ahead and think about your husband doing certain things and everything is not what you want, or I don't trust him, I don't believe nothing he said, look for the best in the situation. Because guess what? The word also tells us in all things work together for our good for those who love the Lord according to his purpose. Make sure you remember that part. Because everybody like to say all things work together for my good, but it's for those that love God, and it is according to his purpose. So when you love God, you're going to look for the best in everything, even in that worst situation. And then it says, hope all things, remaining steadfast during difficult times. That's me, y'all. That's where I'm at right now, because everything is not always peaches and cream in my marriage. But through the difficult times, I'm trying. I'm not going to tell you I succeed, because my mind be going places and I be like, I'm not quite sure if this is, what I want to stick with. But I do. During the difficult times, I have to sit back and just make sure that if I say I love my husband, mean I love my husband. Because, that word love is so easily flowing out of everybody's mouth. But it's not backed up by anything. It flows based on feelings, not on this word. And then it says, endures all things without weakening. So there's some things you're going to go through that's going to make you feel weak, especially in your marriage. It's going to make you feel like, I'm not sure if I still love this man or not. But it says it endures all things without weakening. So don't let your feelings of love overpower your ability to love. And then it said, love never fails. It never fades nor ends. So if you really love this person, it's not going to end. It's not going to fade away. The love that you have is within. Because what it says, God is love. So if you know God, then you know love. And you know love is not necessarily a feeling. Love is an action. So with all this, you want to display love in your marriage. You want to love your husband regardless of what's going on, regardless of how you feel, and regardless of what you think. Love endures all. If God is love and you are in God and God is within you, then you're going to love regardless. You're not going to let your feelings say, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm out. Now, what your relationship with God is, I don't know. But my relationship with God tells me that when I do things based on my feelings, I have to go check myself, especially if I say I love my husband. Am I doing the things that the word says? And like I said, I read from the Amplified version because it breaks it down a little more so that you can understand it, what it means when it tells you, to have patience, to endure, to believe all things, to bear all things. It helps you understand, hey, in my situation, is this what I'm doing? So I hope this blessed you. And like I said, I have things to do today. So before I leave, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, share this if you need to. I would prefer you to. And tap that bell so you know when I go live so you don't have to catch the replay. So until next time, love you all to life. Bye for now.